going on, Legion? Azrael here, like always, and yeah, all right. So we got some movie, some trailers we're checking out. If you're into something kind of scary, just letting everybody know, you can check out Unfriended, the Dark Web. Not so much a supernatural kind of thriller, from what I gathered, but something a little bit different. Very dark web. Very just. If you kind of understand how some people can be and how things actually happen in real life, that's not good. Like selling people on like the dark web. This is that kind of movie. Or that's that kind of trailer. It's fucking creepy. So if you want something kind of creepy, check that out. If you're a big fan of The Conjuring or Insidious or Annabelle, and you like the nun feature, the nun character that follows the man around in those movies, or at least the 2 out of the 3, they're making their own. You know, before all the movies, there was The Nun, and they're making that, and that's just a real crazy supernatural, of course, demonic. And so if you want something scary, dark web, then watch The Nun, and you'll be it'll just creep you out. Let's just get into this. This is something that looks very more ominous. It almost looks like it looks like something like involving like the Holocaust. It looked like there's Nazis involved and a bunch of people standing out, kind of starving. I don't know if it's actually gonna like. I really hope this doesn't like take a weird turn to where it's like turns into something stupid. Like if this is gonna be a serious movie, I hope it's serious. I hope they don't just go, it's serious. Just kidding. It's something not. Let's get into it. Check it out. See what it's all about. Let's hope it's good. I haven't seen fucking Metro in forever. Jesus.
You have no interest in what I have to say. Unless it confirms what you think you already know.
He's so good as an actor. God. Almost good enough I know his name.
My job was simple. Save the country I love from being destroyed.
Oh man, is this really...
Is your job any different?
Oh shit, it's him. It's Apocalypse. Back to Auschwitz, are we?
I have a lead on the great enemy of all people.
Adolf Eichmann.
The architect of the final solution?
The trail went cold in 46. Latest intelligence suggests Buenos Aires.
This guy convinced rabbis to load the trains themselves. And not by force.
Wow.
If it is him, we need an elite crew.
Oh
I'm not
shit.
joining your hit squad.
I would happily put a bullet in between his eyes, but that's not what we're doing here.
This is strictly catch and extract.
Eichmann will stand trial here in Israel.
What, David Kroll?
Think what it means.
Is his name David?
Publicly holding to account the man who organized our slaughter.
Wow. Holy Christ. Is that too close? Is that not...
Our memory reaches
I was just
back
telling
to
crap,
recorded
but...
history. The book of memory still lies open. And you here now are the hand that holds the pen.
Why would you live in America?
If you succeed, for the first time in our history, we will judge our executioner. And we will warn off any who may wish to follow his example. If you fail, he escapes justice. Perhaps forever. I beg you, do not fail.
That looks great. That looks awesome. It looks like they're going to be going a lot this fall. It looks like they're going to be going... what do you call it? It looks like they're going to be going back and forth between World War II and all the stuff that he did, of course, and then present day in like the 50s to 60s or something. Looks more like the 50s-esque. I think. Maybe 60s. I don't think it's going to be the 80s. Maybe it is the 80s. Fuck. No, it's not the 80s. Not the 70s. I don't know when it actually takes place. Because I'm trying to recount where those look. Old school cameras and like the cars. It looks more like the 50s kind of maybe era. I kind of want to know if this is based on like a true story, if the real general or lieutenant, whatever the hell he was, is someone that did get away. Because I know a lot of them go. World War II was always one of my favorite subjects to ever cover. I remember being a really crappy student at school, and my teacher my school is so small, and nobody respected our teachers, and they were like, one of my English teacher was like, all right, here's a book report on this book, do it by this time and whatever. And it came around, I was like, oh, I didn't do it, I didn't care. And she's like, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, all right, yeah, I'll get it. And I just never did it. And finally she goes, fine, just do a report on anything, any subject, I don't care. And I go, all right, cool. And I did one it was the first time I ever did one, really a full real report with like, bindings and all that bullshit about World War II. And I was such a stupid ass student. So I've read does this look like a face that reads? No. I've read books about World War II. I've seen pretty much all the documentaries that you can, whether you find them on Netflix or anywhere else. It's always been a fascinating subject. A lot of the times, a lot of those documentaries, they talk about the war, and even less sometimes they talk about, everybody always wants to do the big thing, right? Germany, Hitler, the Nazis, the Crimson, they want that to be the cover and with the swastika, and it's just the easiest way to do that, right? It's like the hot button. But on like World War II Living in Color, it shows a lot of the Pacific battle that happened with Japan. Very interesting. Even when I remember it was X-Men First Class, and he showed Magneto hunting down German soldiers or former maybe generals or lieutenants. That was just a cool thing they added. That was just, for me, that was great, because it was more elaborate. Any movie that puts that kind of depth into anything is already a thumbs up by me. But the fact that is a subject that I particularly liked, but it was just really showing that off topic, the X-Men movies were not going to be the same garbage they have been. And so that was really cool, and I really enjoyed seeing that. It gave a huge, more depth to a situation, because they elaborated on what, not even very minorly, they showed what could be, just how horrible that point in time during the Holocaust could have been. And that's just a fantasy movie, and they just showed us less than a snippet of how horrible someone's mother being murdered, that kind of stuff. So this, I'm hoping, very much does not shy away with all the horror that was that, because I think that just kind of lessens the movie. I don't need to have to be shielded by anything. Like I said before, if you go watch the Unfriended Dark Web, that is all about people like stealing people and selling them and doing God knows what else. That, to me, is one of the most surreal trailers I've watched in a long time. And it's supposed to be just a movie. It was like what Hostel was supposed to be back in the early 2000s, where Americans and everyone else was just being abducted to kind of just be tortured for anybody's leisure. This is showing like girls in like drums, not playable drums, like oil drums, because that's how they're transporting them. That was, for me, I looked at that and I was like, this is brutal. That's really brutal. And so this is a movie that I don't want to, we need to like sugarcoat some things. We need to do that. No, if that movie can do it, but by the guides of being a horror movie, this is supposed to be something maybe historically accurate, I'm assuming. Don't sugarcoat it. I'm hoping they don't take that approach. I hope they just, the full glory of the situation and how the storytelling of what that could be. And of course, not glory as what happened, just the movie in its full glory, not altered. So I'm hoping it goes around that kind of way. I had a lot to say about this movie. I'm pretty excited to see it. Like I said, World War II has always been fascinating. And learning. And so, like I said, documentaries, Germany, less Pacific and Japan, even less is the generals. You very rarely hear about what happens to the generals after World War II, and what happens to them. So this is something that I'm extremely interested in because it's a subject that even the real life documentaries like don't really go into. If there is one that it's about that, link it down below or tell me the name of it. If it's on Netflix or I have to get it somewhere, I'll look it up. Let me know if there's a documentary that specifically is less about the war, more about the aftermath, about people trying to flee from the responsibility of being judged. But with that, I'm going to get out of here. Like I said, thanks for watching. Thanks for hanging out. Like the video, like the content. You can always like, subscribe, or share. Remember, it's completely up to you. I do appreciate it, though. It does help me out in some way or another. And I'll see you on whatever video I'm doing next. Later, guys.